Hello, Airbus Cockpit Coach here, and welcome to the channel. Another tutorial for you today, this time looking into the Airbus radio management panel and audio control panels. Got the Airbus A320 model by Fenix here. Let's jump inside and take a look. Here we are in the cockpit, and down on the pedestal on either side of the pilots we have a radio management panel, and here is the audio control panel. We have 3 VHF radios on the Airbus A320. Each are able to be selected independently, with a radio management panel here, over here on the first officer slide, and also up on the overhead panel behind the first officer. We have another one, VHF 3, and that's often used by jump seaters. If we're on base training, there'll be a pilot sitting here, and they'll be plugged in over here and tuning the required frequencies to stay up to speed with air traffic control and the goings on at the front. So that's what they use that for, and a lot of the time it's just left in a data function. So we can select data VHF 3 here. You can see it's in a data state, so it can communicate with ground stations and transmit and receive data. We do have other data transmitters on board the aircraft, so this is deselected. The Airbus still has means of getting data. Primarily we're using VHF and day-to-day operations. We do have 2 HF boxes on board, which are usually used by aircraft on oceanic crossings due to their longer transmit range. So VHF is typically line of sight. In the cruise, that will be between 200 and 250 nautical miles to a ground station or a receiving station. HF, those signals bounce off the Earth's upper atmosphere and can stretch, all the way around the Earth, and with good conditions. So they've got a very much longer range. So that's why they're used on the oceanic crossings. Generally, the Airbus A320 doesn't do oceanic operations, so it's more VHF we're interested in. So we've got an active frequency here and a standby frequency, and also CRS, which stands for course. We'll look at that in a moment. We've got a transfer button here. The transfer button also tunes the frequency, so it's not only transferring it, it's also tuning. So it's got 2 functions. We select our frequency in this box and then transfer it into the active, which you transmit on here. What we tune in here doesn't change this side, so it's something to bear in mind. So they're independent. We've got VHF 2, which we usually monitor day-to-day operations with the guard frequency of 121.5 on VHF. So that's sort of an emergency frequency we'd monitor in the background. And as I said, VHF 3 primarily data. We've got HF frequencies. Now these don't auto-tune. We have to transmit first to allow that to auto-tune onto one of those. So you would select our frequency, transfer it, and then we have to push to talk, transmit to tune that frequency in. That's just an important difference to remember between VHF and HF. Down below we have navigation functions. So should we lose the MCDU, that completely fails, we've lost that, we'll lose our radio navigation, which is usually tuned through the MCDU. As you can see here, it will give us VOR information through that. You can see here we've got the Bovingdon VOR tuned 113.75. That's currently through the RadNav page on the MCDU. Should we lose that, we can open this guard, press nav, and you can see that blanks out the MCDU functions now within the RadNav page, and we now have control of the navigation through these selectors here. So we can choose a VOR. So we've got Bovingdon again, just to show you that 113.705. And we can then use the CRS, the course function, to put a course in. As you can see, the On the navigation display, the course is spinning around, and that's how we use the radios for backup navigation should we lose the MCDU. So we can tune VORs, courses, also our ILS frequencies and inbound courses, GLS, ADF and BFO, all tunable through this box once we lift the guard up and press nav. Obviously important to remember to deselect that and close the guard once you're finished with it. They're the basic functions of the radio management panel. Coming below, we've got the audio control panel. That's quite important in terms of what we're listening to and who we're speaking to at any time. Usually when we get on board the aircraft, these will all be dark. So what is lit up here is where we're transmitting, essentially. And pulling these knobs out is what we're listening to. So ideally, you want to, when you get on the aircraft, you don't want any of these selected, just in case you knock something, a transmit switch somewhere, we're not blocking any frequencies up. You can see we're currently listening to the intercom. When we are ready to listen to a VHF frequency, we'll pull up VHF 1, for example, and when we're ready to start talking, we want to select VHF 1. So we've got essentially transmit function at the top and receive functions in the middle, and then we'd adjust our volume once pulled accordingly, to what we want. So we can listen to the intercom. Between that sort of what we'd use to speak to the ground crew, for example. We'd use this one to speak to the cabin, and we can also get calls on this as well. So Cellcal will light these up. So we're over the you are over the ocean, for example, you get a Cellcal call. These will flash. I can show you the light functions actually on those. We can turn on the standby lights. Test switch there, so that's now it's a later light. You see the various lights we've got on the panel. So we've got the call, got the mechanic, so that'll be the ground crew. We've got the cabin, you get an attention call when they're trying to get hold of you. So they're the lights we've got on here. You can see them all lit up. Beneath that, we've got an intercom switch. So this is transmitting. So important to bear in mind. Usually, we want this in the middle position. By selecting it upwards, you've essentially got a hot mic on the intercom. So that is transmitting constantly on your selected intercom. So you don't want to be, and so that's ground crew or anybody listening in the cabin. So we bear in mind that is on constant transmit. Ideally you want it in the middle. You can transmit on the radio by pulling down, and that's spring loaded that way. So it will spring back to a non-transmitting position in the middle. This voice switch here, when that's pushed, it's muting out the noises of the sort of the marker beacons and sort of the VOR Morse code identifiers you'll get on these selections below. So it's basically giving you, as it kind of implies, voice only. Reset will always reset the calls you get here, so you just hit that if you get a call and you've answered it. PA switch, on the Fenix now with cabin announcements modelled. A lot of you will be familiar with this. We use this and we crank it up to listen to our announcements. The PA switch is the push to talk for cabin announcements. It's spring loaded. So when we're speaking to the cabin to give them an update, we'd hold this down. And you can see that overrides VHF 1. Important one to keep an eye on. Ideally you want to select that off before doing that, because should you loosen your finger on the cabin announcement, it will revert to VHF 1, and occasionally you will hear pilots accidentally broadcasting their cabin announcements over ATC. It's quite funny sometimes, but also bit annoying for air traffic control. So just remember that spring loaded, but you need to make sure it's pressed when making those announcements. Beneath that, we've got selections here to listen to navigation, frequency, Morse identifiers. If you've got a VOR tuned, you can pop that out. We can listen to the Morse identifier. Usually a beacon will be identified. If you can see here, we've got Bravo November November identified. That's because the MCDU has tuned that frequency and identified that through its Morse ident of Bravo November November. You see that there. That means it's been identified already. Should that not be there, we can listen to the Morse identifier by putting these out, turning them up, and listening to them ourselves. Make sure we're tuning to the right beacon. Common one on here would be perhaps marker beacon to listen to. So when we fly over the middle marker or outer marker on an approach, it will make a noise. It also flashes on the primary flight display as well. But sometimes pilots like that as a reference point. It gives them an indication of how far they are from the runway. And we can also listen to the ILSs and ADF beacons as well. So that's the radios, very basically. There's a little bit more to it. I think it's important to understand this part in particular in terms of standby navigation. Obviously, I have in the real world had an MCDU failure and use this functionality. They are computers, after all. They do fail, and it's important to understand how we're going to navigate the aircraft in that scenario. So that's an important one. Any questions on that? Let me know. Please drop them in chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. Or of course, anything else Airbus related. Thanks for listening, and I hope you join me on the next tutorial shortly. Take care.